Good morning, roller derby fans.
We are live, or are we? Hello? Hello, hello, hello? What is this plugged into?
Are you getting our audio live?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it. It takes about a minute to go through.
Right.
But I can hear people cheering, so I know.
So if you can hear us.
Well, yeah, but you have to say something.
Mr. G-Force, can you hear us?
Oh, yes. Good morning, Roller Derby fans. Yeah, you're live. It takes about a minute to go through the internet.
So is it
It's delayed by about a minute then. Okay. And William, we're supposed to be able to hear ourselves.
Yeah, you should, but you're going to have to. You have to adjust the volumes. Can you hear yourself?
No. Hello, hello? Oh, here we go. There we go.
Let's try that again. Good morning, roller derby fans. Welcome to the Ted Reeve Bubble. We are next door to the Ted Reeve Arena in beautiful downtown Toronto, and this is the Fresh and the Furious 2014. My name is Lightning Slim, and I'm joined this morning by Pink Slaminade to bring all the action to you.
Hi, Lightning, and we've got our first jam here between the South Simcoe Rebel Rollers and the Ganaraska Gravediggers. Number 314 from South Simcoe jamming 3693 from Ganaraska. Looks like that's Chronic Cartage, your lead jammer. Amazon still struggling at the back of the pack. Amazon's out of the pack now. Chronic Cartage fighting her way through the front. She calls off that jam with 4 points. Ganaraska first to get on the board.
The Ganaraska Gravediggers from Northumberland, Ontario, just near Peterborough. South Simcoe, of course, near Barrie, Ontario. On your screen, you'll see Ganaraska in the white, South Simcoe Rebel Rollers in the black.
Coming up through here, we've got number 248 from South Simcoe. That's Whiskey Sour, your lead jammer. 975 from Ganaraska, working her way through. That's Iggy Popper. Just squeaks through the pack there. Whiskey Sour coming up on the pack now, taking the inside, looking for the friendly side. She finds it. 4 points. Calls that jam, but Iggy Popper looks like she probably picked up. Yeah, it's 3 points she picked up.
Ganaraska jumping out to an early lead in this contest. The Bubble, of course, one of 2 tracks you can check out at Fresh and Furious. The Ted Reeve Arena will have its own stream shortly as their bouts begin. But first thing this morning, you get us in the Bubble with the South Simcoe Rebel Rollers. A score of 4, Ganaraska Gravediggers in the white 5.
Looks like someone's heading to the box for a penalty. And we've already got our lead jammer, Mass Genocide, from South Simcoe. Let's see who's in the back there. Struggling through on the inside. That's a cut penalty addressed to Fist and Shout from Ganaraska. That'll be a power jam for South Simcoe. 5-point grand slam on the board, so maybe they'll be able to pull ahead now.
5 points already on the board. Mass Genocide looking for more. You see her there in the corner of your screen wearing the kilt inside the pack. She forces her way to the front. 1 to beat. She's being ably defended at the line, and she's through.
And now even with the 30-second penalties, you know, in a 20-minute game, this power jam is going to make a huge difference for South Simcoe. And she's through again, virtually unopposed.
Now a 15-point power jam for the South Simcoe Rebel Rollers. And like you said, Slaminade, in the short format game, these power jams can be absolutely devastating.
Well, and you know, with the surface here on the sport court, you know, a lot of skaters probably haven't dealt with it before, not to mention just the pressure of, you know, the nerves getting to you. You make silly mistakes, you rush, you don't want to take your time, and penalties happen pretty easily. That's
an interesting point, Pink's Lemonade. The sport court, not as well known here in Canada, as most of our skaters usually grow up skating on hockey surfaces like polished concrete.
Mm-hmm.
19-5 in favor of South Simcoe. They're wearing the black. Oh, right off the line. Jammer to jammer contact.
Oh, almost makes her way through the South Simcoe jammer. Not sure who that is. Number 260, hippie check. It's a giant pile up on the apex there. Oh my gosh.
Chronic Carnage falls several times, but back on her skates now, receiving some encouragement from her bench. Skates on, but inside the pack. Now on a scoring pass, the jammer of South Simcoe calls it off. I was incorrect. The jammer of South Simcoe was not on a scoring pass. She was simply held at the front of the pack and called it off, so no change to the score. 19-5 in favor of South Simcoe, and 15 minutes remaining.
Nice wall up by Gara Frasca there, but South Simcoe just powers through 314 Amazon. She is your lead jammer. Iggy Popper, it looks like, yes. Meanwhile, she's struggling at the front of that pack. She makes it out as well. Really difficult to block if you're not used to sport court. You don't get a lot of slides, so if you have someone coming up behind you, it's really easy to get knocked over, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. It's sort of a jammer's game right now.
Another 4 points for South Simcoe. The winner of this game will go on to face the winner of our next contest, which is between the Queen's Court of Queen City, that's Buffalo. They're playing the Windsor Assault, and the winner of that contest will face the winner of this one.
The Grave Diggers, rather, short one blocker as this jam starts. That's going to work against them. South Simcoe already lead jammer. Number 248, Whiskey Sour. Once again, your lead jammer. Northumberland struggling at the back. Fist and Shout. Just trying to squeeze her way through those holes. Sneaks through on the inside. Whiskey Sour picks up 4 points, calls it off. Rather enthusiastically. The camera didn't quite catch that.
Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, in this video courtesy of Layer 9 Productions, and you're watching Fresh and Furious 2014.
Not quite making it through on the inside. Northumberland's going to have to go back. That's number 3696 Chronic Carnage. South Simcoe, Mass Genocide. She's declared lead jammer. We're getting a cut call for one of the blockers on the outside here. Chronic Carnage, a big wall of black.
Now, Mass Genocide was the author of that 15-point power jam earlier, which secured this lead for South Simcoe. She is now, again, on a scoring pass, but there is a forearm penalty being called.
Is that for Mass Genocide?
The forearm was to a Ganaraska defender. Therefore, South Simcoe able to call off the jam. And that's Riff Raff and Roll heading to the penalty box.
A lot of penalties here for Gara Frasca Grave Diggers. And again, you know, a lot of it's nerves, a lot of it's inexperience.
This Fresh and Furious tournament is often a proving ground for the referees, as the fresh players do tend to commit some of those errors that experienced players do not. So an excellent opportunity for these referees to practice calling various penalties.
And a great learning experience for the skaters as well. Looks like it's Iggy Popper through your lead jammer for Gara Frasca. First lead jam in quite a while. Hippie check, knocked out. She's going to have to re-enter in the back.
Iggy Popper absolutely leveled by 000 on South Simcoe. That's Dine and Dash Tash. And she knocked down Iggy Popper, forcing an end to the proceedings, but not before Iggy Popper was able to put up 4 points, and we have a score of 31-9 in favor of South Simcoe with 11 minutes remaining.
South Simcoe, another hit off the jammer line from, it looks like Amazon. She is your lead jammer for South Simcoe. Fist and shout, jumping through on the inside of the apex there. She's not going to make it around in time, it looks like, to hold off Amazon. Calls off the jam, 4 points. 2 points, 3 points.
3, a hidden thumb from ref Rollkill there.
Nothing worse than a hidden thumb.
A German 3 he was holding up. We just missed the thumb.
The South Simcoe fresh meat proving to be very physical. You know, South Simcoe always kind of brings a lot of really intense blockers, really heavy hits to the game, whereas Gara Frasca having a hard time withstanding that. Once again, Whiskey Sour, your lead jammer, this time Chronic Cartage right behind her.
It's a race. Chronic Carnage trying to keep up. South Simcoe, right through the wall to the front, calling it off. An athletic maneuver there.
I didn't even see her call it off. That was a quick whistle.
Whiskey Sour barged her way through that pack and called it off immediately. She was able to secure 3 points in doing so.
It's looking a lot more bleak for Northumberland. Luckily, they'll get a chance to play again against the loser of the next bout.
This is a double elimination tournament. We're over the halfway point in this one. 8 minutes, 8.5. And South Simcoe a score of 38. Ganaraska, the Gravediggers, a score of 9.
Iggy Popper trying to move her way out. She gets a friendly side, your lead jammer now, but mass genocide right behind her. With Northumberland walled up in the back, doesn't look good for the points here. She has 1 or 2 seconds, calls it off.
Now, Iggy Popper, I do believe, is a former junior player.
Oh.
I'm having someone verify that for me, but if that's the case, it's good to see that we're having a next generation of skaters come up. It's very exciting for the sport.
It's always great to see how the junior players adapt, you know, because luckily they've got a really good head for the game, having played it so long. But then going from playing, you know, a lot of times they're the biggest player on the team against some pretty small girls, going up against full-grown women who deliver full-grown hits. It's really interesting to watch.
Just awaiting the whistle. There it goes. Lead jam going to South Simcoe. That's Hippie Check. She's being chased by Fist and Shout.
She's playing it safe. There's only 7 minutes left, and they've got such a huge lead. Maybe she's worried about Northumberland sneaking up on them. Whiskey Sour now your pivot for this jam. Looks like Amazon again from SSRR. Some hitting off the jammer line. Chronic Cartage goes out of bounds. Meanwhile, Amazon getting a big hit there. This lady in the green, Miss Universe. She is your lead jammer for South Simcoe. Chronic Cartage, meanwhile, gets an elbow from number 67 on SSRR, so that'll send her to the box for the forearm. That's Ojibwan Kenobi.
Chronic Carnage skates on, and now a power jam opportunity as Amazon heads to the box.
I wonder what that cut was. I didn't even see it, and meanwhile, she's being followed by the outside pack ref.
Chronic Carnage trying to make her way through. South Simcoe heavily defending, trying to make a power failure out of this power jam. And Chronic Carnage, there it is.
Low block addressed to Chronic Carnage. We're going to switch this back up again. No pack called. And now Amazon's going to try and make her way up.
Amazon, of course, not needing to do very much, just skate cleanly, even if she doesn't make her way through the pack. Time is on the side of South Simcoe. She does find a way through the outside route. And 4 points.
Wonder who she missed there for that grand slam. Chronic Carnage makes her way through. Looks like maybe they didn't notice her. Hit down, but not out. So she's going to get 4 points.
The full 5 for Chronic Carnage.
5. And another penalty, a back block penalty addressed to Amazon. So now Northumberland in a power jam situation with 4 seconds left in this jam. That's going to be a really great advantage for them.
Chronic Carnage making another pass, another grand slam, and this will be a power start for Ganaraska. They may not be able to close the gap in 4 minutes. It's entirely possible with the score now. 47 for South Simcoe. The Gravediggers 23, and a power start for the ladies in white.
Icky Popper, your jammer for this power jam, and she's performed pretty well in the past. So far this bout, she is out, lead jammer. Amazon still not standing, so she looks like she'll have time to pick up at least 1 grand slam before she's even out of the box.
Iggy Popper, the young jammer for the Ganaraska Gravediggers, approaching the pack. She uses her teammates as a handhold. She's in the thick of things now, looking at the inside line, taking a hit. She keeps it fair, keeps her skates in bounds. She's through for 5.
Calls the jam before even Amazon's scoring pass. Maybe a bit of an oversight, but still worked out well for Northumberland, 28-42 now.
It would have been more prudent, in fact, to try and get another pass in there, as you were saying, Pink Slaminate. But inexperience, that's the word of the day at Fresh and the Furious. But you get to see the excitement of a lot of these players in their first year. The vast majority of them playing less than 5 games so far in their career.
And one thing you see at this tournament is you'll even see teams improve throughout the day, you know, making mistakes in the morning that they learn from and they don't make in the afternoon. And lead jammer to Northumberland, fist and shout. Mass Genocide, not your lead.
Just
Struggling.
2.5 minutes remaining. What can Fist and Shout do with that time?
Possibly make up 14 points. We'll see.
Fist and Shout calling it off, but of course every time they reset this track, they're bleeding 20-25 seconds away from the clock.
Yeah. And we've got Amazon here jamming for SSRR. She's been doing pretty well, you know, with the exception of those 2 penalties in her last jam. She is pretty hard to knock down, looks like. So, and jamming for the first time here this bout, looks like it's Miss Universe from the Ganaraska Gravediggers. Ganaraska Gravediggers. I'm just making up words. Amazon, your lead jammer. Miss Universe knocked out into the back of the pack.
Miss Universe forced to reset, tries from the outside to the inside. And also coming through on the inside line, there goes Amazon. She has the full 5.
Ganaraska looking a little bewildered. Honestly, it looks like they might have been trying at a no pack creation, but then they completely missed Amazon. Meanwhile, forearm for Miss Universe. Now it's a power jam for SSRR.
Amazon trying with lateral movement, tries, she can't get around fist and shout acting in a blocking capacity, decides to call it off. That is 4 more points in the pot for South Simcoe, and time ticking away here. We are in the final minute.
I know she looked a little maybe disappointed that she called it off, but really starting in a power jam for the last jam of the game, you know, they're already 19 points ahead, so no harm,
and I believe
no
that's
foul.
Whiskey Sour on the jammer line for South Simcoe. 51-32 currently the score in their favor, just trying to wrap things up and secure the victory in this first bout of Fresh and Furious.
Whiskey Sour, your lead jammer once again. Lots of yelling from third base. Whiskey Sour's got 12 seconds left in this period. All she's really got to do is stay out of the penalty box.
And there it is. Official time has expired. The jam now will skate to its natural conclusion. It is in the hands and the hips of Whiskey Sour.
She looks very calm as she makes her way through the pack, too. You know, nothing was really frazzling her.
And she's going to keep on skating. She wants those points, and she's got a grand slam.
Yeah, her bench is saying, go, 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 keep it up.
She has another minute to make hay. As long as she keeps things fair on the track, this will be.
Well, and Miss Universe seems to be serving a second penalty, so then she's got another. Oh, calls it off.
66-32, that's your unofficial final, barring any mathematical changes to the scoreboard. Most definitively, though, a victory for the South Simcoe Rebel Rollers. They will advance, and Ganaraska will go to the consolation round to see if they can stay in this.
We've got another 13 minutes before we'll see Queen's Court from Buffalo take on the Windsor Assault from Windsor, Ontario. SSRR playing the winner of that game, Northumberland playing the loser of that game in the second round here at the Bubble at Ted Reeve Arena. Well, I'm still Pink Sliminade, and this is still Lightning Slim. We'll see you in about 15 minutes here at Fresh and the Furious 2014.
Go absolutely nowhere. We'll see you.
We're not.
Watch it, Ted. I love announcing the swim. It's a good time.
So now you can listen to me. Because I will tell you before. Fair enough. Which is what I want. Their logo is a fireplace. Big nasty pointy fingers. Look at the bones.
And we are back at the Ted Reeve Bubble in Toronto, Ontario. I'm Pink Slimonade. This is Lightning Slim.
Hello, everyone. This is our second game in the bubble of the Fresh and Furious 2014 tournament in the yellow. You'll see there on the left-hand side of your screen. That's Windsor Assault out of Windsor, Ontario. And their opponents wearing the black, the Queen's Court from Queen City Roller Derby, which, if you don't know, is Buffalo.
And I just realized our name there's Slim and Slam, so I feel like we need our own cartoon.
That's right.
Slim and Slam.
Absolutely. I think people would watch that.
They'd
watch the parts with you in it.
Yeah. The Adventures of Slim and Slam and Slam's speech impediment.
Thank you for joining us on Layer 9 Productions to watch this wonderful fresh meat tournament. All these players are new, very little experience, thrills and spills. The order of the day at Fresh and Furious. And
we just saw the South Simcoe Rebel Rollers win over the Ganaraska Gravediggers from Northumberland, South Simcoe, Barrie, Ontario.
And they did so by virtue of putting up a 15-point power jam in the first half of the contest. And these are only 20-minute bouts, so if you can do that, you pretty much can run away with the thing.
Well, and not to mention, you see a lot of teams, they take a while to get their sea legs, whether it's mentally or just getting used to the floor. You don't have time for that in a 20-minute game. You have to be at a full force right out of the gate. And it looks like that power jam definitely rattled Northumberland.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Now, another interesting wrinkle to the Fresh and Furious tournament is the second venue, the Ted Reeve Arena next door, is a polished concrete venue, whereas the bubble in here is sport court.
Absolutely.
So there'll either have to be a lot of mental change-ups going on in the way that the skaters move, or they're going to be changing up their wheels.
Well, and that's the thing. I was in the Renegade Derby Dames and the Neophyte change room, and just wheels, bearings, tools everywhere. Try this one, try that one, and really you just kind of have to try and adjust your skating most of all.
If you're a gearhead and you're interested in playing a sport that involves a lot of equipment tinkering, feel free to join Flat Track Roller Derby.
Absolutely. Parts not included.
I know, and I know you must have some skater acquaintances who have a bit of a wheel problem.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I have one set of wheels for indoor and one set of wheels for outdoor, and I show up at the venue and I just go, oh, well, shucks, and go ahead. And then you see some people who've got this giant smorgasbord of just rainbow.
They bring in the briefcase.
Exactly.
Full of wheels for
rattling
every
around in the
opportunity.
trunk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we are ready to begin. In the yellow, Windsor Assault, Queen's Court in the black. 20 minutes on the clock. Here we go.
Looks like number 88 for Queen's Court is jamming. That's Tokyo Drift.
She is the team
Windsor
captain.
Assault,
Dracula.
That's your lead jammer.
Part of the fun for us, ladies and gentlemen, new names we haven't heard before, new derby names. So that's Dracula, 0 for Windsor Assault. Oh, cramming into the back of a Queen's Court player. That is a back-blocking penalty and a power jam for Queen's Court.
Tokyo Drift makes it out, kind of fitting at the Fresh and the Furious. Tokyo Drift is your first sort of scoring jammer.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Oh, man, roller derby, join for the violence, stay for the puns, really. Tokyo Drift really struggling to get through that Windsor wall. You can see them struggling with this surface for sure.
Tokyo Drift outwits and outlasts, comes out with a grand slam.
Now we've got Dracula back on the track. Looks like Buffalo didn't really notice. She picks up 4 points in a matter of seconds.
And so, with just a couple of minutes gone, Queen City, a score of 10, and Windsor with 4.
Now, was that the jam starting whistle? What was that whistle?
No, it appears that play has not begun. Yes, play has begun, and Tokyo Drift is heading to the penalty area.
What happened?
A late penalty from the previous jam, it would seem. And so, flying solo on the jammer line. This is a power jam for the Windsor Assault. And there she goes, number 75, Rocket Horror.
They're going to get their money's worth out of this power jam, it looks like. Lots of jockeying for position in that pack as Rocket Horror makes her way outside on the apex. Risky move, but it seems to be working out for her.
Both ourselves and the camera are located at turn number 1, so ladies and gentlemen at home, you will find out the name of the jammer when we do. Rocket Horror coming through for a grand slam, and she's approaching the pack. You see her there on the right-hand side. She's looking for more.
Another easy grand slam for Rocket Horror. Now Tokyo Drift. It's not going to waste any more time. Rocket Horror calls off the jam.
And I like to see a good firm call off. She had her arms way up in the air.
Like she means it. I do more of the hummingbird kind of motion, just like rapid vibrations around the hip bone
Don't
area.
you risk the referee maybe
All the
not
time.
quite getting it?
All the time. That's how I was taught. I came in right after that rule change where you didn't have to touch your head anymore. So my coaches were saying, don't waste time, just do right down. But you know, the refs can not always see it. Tracula now your lead jammer. Cut penalty, it looks like. Oh, just for a Windsor Assault blocker. And Poisonous.
Lulu Bayham, she heads to the box.
Looks like that's Poisonous Peaches is your jammer here for Queen City. Not able to score after Tracula calls it off.
An entirely appropriate set of socks on the Windsor Assault, considering there are some other things happening in the roller derby world with hashtag bees.
Here we go again. Some nice backwards blocking by Windsor here, or by Buffalo rather, but Windsor makes it your lead jammer. Rocket Horror up against number 16, Sweet 16. A 0-point jam.
No change the score. 16 minutes remaining in the contest. These teams just 5 points apart. Windsor 18, Queen City 13. The winner of this contest will face South Simcoe, who won the previous one. The loser of this contest will face the Gravediggers of Ganaraska.
Tracula trying to throw off the Queen City jammer, it looks like.
Little gameswomanship trying to jockey for position on the line. Tracula makes a break for it, but she's held at the line.
Queen City had to knock over one of her own blockers just to get through. That's number 8915, meowing him down.
And she did.
She did. She really had to. Totally legal. You can do whatever you want to your teammates.
That's right, the cannonball maneuver, one of the more infamous examples of using your own teammate as a weapon.
That moment where you just go, use me.
It's a bit unfortunate as the referee will punish the bullet and not the gun, as they say.
Yep. Tokyo Drift jamming for the Queen City Queen's Court. And the yellow here looks like it's Rocket Horror. Both out virtually the same time. Only 2 Queen City blockers on the track.
Tokyo Drift has the whip hand. She uses it to call off the jam. She's not willing to trade points with the assault, with the score as close as it is.
Well, with Queen City welled up in the back, you know, she really didn't have an option, because by the time she gets up to the Windsor wall, let alone past it, it had been 2 points and 2 ghost points for her opponent.
Tracula, Sweet 16.
Thank you, in-house announcer.
That's Obi Sirius. Thank you. Yes, he's doing what we cannot do. See their backs. Oh, Tracula mowed down.
On Tracula, that means Sweet 16 is going to be your lead jammer.
And that was a not strictly legal hit that knocked down Tracula, and there are penalties resulting from that.
How many lead jammers do we got here? Now they're saying not lead jammer to Tracula. Sweet 16 still your lead jammer.
double helix in the box for Queen's Court, 2 blockers in the box for Windsor, and a big schmozzle to finish off the jam. 3 points for Windsor, and I believe an equal 3. Yes, 3.
4.
Oh, a 4.
Yes.
What is wrong with us this morning? We can't see fingers.
We're just, I don't know. It's like the weird angle that they do it at.
I'm going to blame referee Rollkill for having odd fingers.
Yes. Get it together.
Your fingers are too skinny, Rollkill.
That's got to be part of the whiff to ref test now. We're going to have to write a letter.
That's right.
That was your jam starting whistle. No one else knows but us. There we go.
A frozen moment in time, but now bursting into action.
8-9-1-5 from Queen's Court. That is meowing him down. Number 002 from Windsor Assault, or 003 rather, Kerosene. Meowing him down, your lead jammer. She topples a Windsor player. That's going to be a back block for sure. Yep, she's going to the box. It's a power jam for Windsor. She tries to call it off on the way to the box.
Meowed him down. In fact, yeah, tried to put her hands to her hips. No one was watching her, which is probably just as well.
On her way to the, you know what you did, meow him down.
Kerosene collides with one of her own teammates, Rocket Horror, goes down quickly back to her skates. Now she's being buffeted by the defenders of Queen's Court.
No pack called. Windsor's got to rush up. That jam reaches its conclusion. Lots of yelling. Lots of bad girls on the play. Oh!
Outside pack referee Wind Pants with a lot of arm movement and gesticulating. He's sending lots of players to the box.
This jam is still on. There was just so many penalty whistles. It sounded like the 4 whistles at the end of a jam.
However, Windsor taking control here with a grand slam. That puts them up to 36 points. Queen's Court sitting at 17. Kerosene tries to call off the jam, but she was never the lead jammer. That is not going to work for her.
No.
My ref nut having none of that.
Really nice footwork by meowing him down, especially at this level of experience. You know, she's getting hit, so she just transitions. She's good at staying on her feet. Dragging that toe stop, though. Girl, you are going to be in trouble real soon.
And as they trade all the way through the jam, Windsor coming out on top with a sizable lead with, we're just about at the halfway point, 11 minutes remain. Windsor 47, Queen's Court 29.
And Windsor and Queen's Court, likely teams that have played each other before, Windsor being so close to the border, you never know if maybe these two leagues have an ongoing rivalry or something. Number Sweet 16, she is your lead jammer. Paranormal jamming for the first time this bout, out of the pack as well.
Our next bout of the day here in the bubble would be the Neophytes versus Les Bûches. Both of them amalgamated teams, one from Northern Ontario, the other from Quebec. You see there calling off the jam, Sweet 16.
She was signaling to her pack, you know, get to the front. Leave the yellow people behind for me to pass.
She did manage to put a dent in that Windsor lead. 47-33 now in favor of Windsor with 10 minutes remain.
Tokyo Drift jamming for Queen City now. I think it's Rocket Horror for Windsor. Rocket Horror sneaks through. She's your lead jammer. Tokyo Drift trying to deal with Kerosene up at the front there. It's just so hard to stay on your feet as a blocker if you're not used to the sport court. Four more points on the board for Windsor.
Nine minutes remaining. Windsor, a sizable lead, but Queen's Court determined to do something about that. Dracula likes to play head games on that jammer line. Back and forth she goes.
Sweet 16, you can see her sort of trying to ignore her, but it can be intimidating when someone really shows that kind of confidence right off the jammer line.
Speaking of confidence, Dracula way out in front, half a track
My
ahead
mistake.
of Sweet 16.
It's meowed him down, actually. Not Sweet 16.
You're right, Pink Slaminate, be out him down inside the pack now. Penalties being called. And it is a track-cutting penalty to Dracula and an opportunity here for Queen's Court to catch up here with Meownham down in that jammer position, and more penalties being called inside the pack. There's room for her to skate, Slaminade.
Yeah. That Buffalo blocker went way back, you know, and Dracula just didn't even see her. Meownham down now. She picks up a 5-point grand slam in the interim. Now we're only 9 points between these two teams. Well, that was easy. Just slides right through on the inside of that apex. Wins Queen City, rather, doing a great job of giving her a friendly side.
Another grand slam there for Windsor, and that will place them in the lead. We have a lead change.
Dracula going back to the box, an illegal procedure. I didn't quite catch what she did there, but I'm guessing she probably entered in somewhere in the middle of the pack and not at the back.
Indeed, likely an illegal re-entry from the penalty box sends her right back to whence she came. And we have interesting developments, Pink Slaminate, especially on that scoreboard.
Ooh, wait, what's happening? It was 57, now it's 52 for Queen's Court. Regardless, they've pulled ahead of Windsor.
And someone from the scorekeeper's table running out to have a discussion with Team Zebra at the center of the oval. We are in an official timeout.
This game brought to a halt by math once again.
The Neophytes and Les Bouches warming up behind us here. They will be in the next bout. The Neophytes from Northeast Ontario, as the name would indicate. Les Bouches, the pride of Quebec. They're an amalgamated team from all kinds of places, like Rimouski and Trois-Rivières and Montreal, even Cornwall, which is sort of in Quebec.
It's Quebec-ish. It's Quebec adjacent.
It's not quite across the border when the 401 turns into the surface of the moon, but it's close. And what will be a lot of fun for the referees, it looks like the Neophytes are wearing sort of a pea green color and Les Bouches are wearing yellow.
That's actually the Renegade Derby names behind us in the green. Forest City also wearing pea green.
And we are reset and ready to begin. And okay, that's changed. The scoreboard will stand. Queen's Court ahead by 1, but they have the power start.
Sweet 16, your lead jammer. A lot of excitement on that Buffalo bench with 6.5 minutes remaining. They are still on a power jam. Some more of that hand signaling as she makes it through on the inside. Beautiful teamwork. Dracula not going to make the same mistake twice. She's rejoined the pack. Meanwhile, Queen's Court picks up another grand slam. Dracula is now out on a scoring pass. Risky move, trying to pick up some more points while Dracula's scoring, especially with Queen City at the back. 4 points to Windsor, only 3 picked up for Queen City in that pass. 10-point score differential now.
Queen City, a very narrow margin. 5.5 minutes remaining.
Rocket Horror and I think Meownham down probably from Queen City.
Rocket Horror getting really physical, but is knocked down on the inside line. Meownham down. Can't find her way out either. There is a penalty to Queen's Court coming there. Number 179, Demanda Ruckus, goes to the box. The two jammers neck and neck. And you see there on the right, they will approach the pack together. And no one wants to risk getting into that pack. A quick call off, nothing neither way on the scoreboard.
You can see here Windsor knows the pressure's on. Less than 5 minutes remaining, 10 points between these teams.
Another jam begins.
Looks like your lead jammer is going to be Kerosene, but Tokyo Drift like just races out from behind her.
Tokyo Drift forcing Kerosene into a call-off. No change to the scoreboard, and the Queen's Court know that the clock is on their side. Pink's Lemonade.
Yeah, Tokyo Drift's so good she makes me talk like a teenager. Tokyo Drift's like totally lead jammer.
Sweet 16 takes to the jammer line for Queen's Court. She faces Dracula. Dracula in heavy rotation.
That's Rocket Horror, I think, actually.
You have better eyes than I, and yes, you are correct.
It's because I'm falling in love as we speak. Sweet 16, your lead jammer, Rocket Horror, coming out behind. Again, Queen City at the back. Not sure if this will work out for them.
And a roll of the dice. They come out 1 point ahead, a 4-3 jam in favor of the Queen's Court. And with just 3 minutes remaining, if they can continue to do that, Pink's Lemonade, victory will be theirs.
11-point difference. Now we have Dracula back, and she's a tough jammer. If she can stay out of the box, she might be able to close up this gap. Mayhem in the pack. Meowing him down is your lead jammer. Dracula close behind her. Not close enough, though. This is going to be a point-scoring jam for Meowing him down. Probably not for Windsor.
Buffalo taking control of the back of the pack. Windsor surges to the front, but Dracula bursts
I take
ahead.
it back. Not only was I not right, I was totally wrong. Dracula picks up 4 points.
And Queen's Court has an 11-point lead with 2 minutes remaining. A war of nerves here on the jammer line.
They've made this jammer rotation pretty much just Rocket Horror and Dracula in these last few minutes. They're not taking any chances, Windsor.
Rocket Horror taking a penalty.
What was that, a low block?
A disastrous turn of events for the assault as Sweet 16 has sole possession of the track.
A minute and a half left in the period, a minute 40 in the jam. 5 points. 5 points on the board for Buffalo. And that ability to just stay vertical is all she needs here to get through this pack. Rocket Horror only has 2 blockers to contend with. She makes it through.
Oh, and these jammers trading for now, but then Sweet 16 calls it off. Only a few seconds remaining.
And you can see how tired these jammers are. The sport court floor just eats up your momentum entirely. You know, you can't really get a good sort of roll. The friction just, it's exhausting.
And it looks like this will be our final jam. Just about 25 seconds remaining. Tokyo Drift absorbing some physical punishment. Meanwhile, at the back of the pack, Kerosene cannot find her way through a wall. Tokyo Drift picks up lead.
Kerosene is probably going to be a low block for that Queen City blocker. She finally makes it out. Period time has run out. That's going to be the end of the game.
She calls it. Tokyo Drift securing victory.
Another
And
4
that
points.
is the score, 91-62 in favor of Queen's Court. So Queen City's Queen's Court taking the Queen's Highway to get to Toronto. A very royalist flavor to this American victory.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that means they're going to get to play against the South Simcoe Rebel Rollers here at 1:40 p.m. Meanwhile, the Windsor Assault will be taking on the Ganaraska Gravediggers at 2:20. Still a chance for them to advance onto the next round.
We're going to take a break. Stay tuned for Les Bûches and the Neophytes coming up next. My name is Lightning Slim. I've been here with Pink's Lemonade. Stick with us at Fresh and Furious 2014.
say everything with a French accent. Minimaliste. Minimaliste. Candela. Arnett. Yeah. What is that? Camionette. 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 Google Bob. Google Bob. Gargan. Noirceur. Noirceur. Ronald. Rapidas. Mazo Curie. Slamanta. Nice. Yeah, I got a good French accent. I am Obi Sérieux.
Hello, hello.
Check, check, check.
Check, check, check. I can kind of hear myself. Good. I imagine everyone at home is probably listening to us do checks. Congratulations. You have passed the test. I'm Captain Lou Alabamo,
And I am Obi Sirius.
and we're here for Game 3 on the bubble track. On your schedule, if you're following along, it is actually game number 7.
7.2.
Yeah, that's right. Very interesting matchup here. The defending champs, Le Bouche from Quebec, a mishmash team from various leagues in Quebec, is facing off against the Neophytes, which is a mishmash team of skaters from teams from Northern Ontario. So I'm expecting an interesting matchup, Obi, with strong skaters from the various leagues coming together. It's a question of how well will they work together.
Well, from what I've seen so far, all the teams today have played amazing games, whether or not they've won or lost, and I'm expecting no less from these two.
That's right. Currently on this track, we've had wins by the South Simcoe Rebel Rollers and the Queen's Court out of Buffalo, New York, Queen City, and losses to the Ganaraska Gravediggers from Northumberland and the Windsor Assault. So they will face off against each other at 140 and 220. But we have a game just about ready to get started, doing a last little bit of equipment check. And this is, of course, the Fresh and the Furious 2014 edition, hosted by the GTAR Greater Toronto Area Roller Derby group. And
I need to thank you, Cap, for giving me the pronunciation of Ganascara, because no one had told me that all day, and I have yet to say it until just now properly.
I have to tell you, Obi, I don't know if that was the right pronunciation, but it is the way I pronounced it. If you are watching us online on Layer 9/Tord TV, thank you for tuning in. I will apologize up front for my horrific French pronunciations for anyone listening from Quebec, because I'm going to butcher a whole lot of French names, as I always do, but I will do it the best way that I can with a Northern Ontario French accent. I think we're going straight to the line, which is all good. Again, Les Bouches in yellow, Neophytes in white.
See, I'm not going to apologize for my French accent, even though it's not very good. Because even though my last name is, in this case, Sirius, it's pronounced Thibodeau.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I actually grew up with a French-speaking mother who learned her French in Sudbury, which means any French I can speak is unintelligible to the general French-speaking populace. And my French speaking is limited. Looks like we're about to get roller derby underway. 20-minute action. And we've got number 4x4, Le Camionette, skating for Les Bouches. No, she is actually pivoting for Les Bouches. It is number 8. That is Rapidas from Rimouski. Getting lead jammer quickly. And
Jammer for the Neophytes is 1064, Dolly Ruger.
And she's from Cochrane Roller Derby from Northern Ontario. Both jammers back around the track in the pack looking to score. And again, sometimes with these inexperienced jammers, they don't call it off necessarily. Conan Le Barras is on the bench for Les Bouches and telling her jammer to continue along. So both have scored 4 points and they're back in the pack. ready to put more on the board.
Dolly Ruger for the neophytes, even though she wasn't lead jammer, made it out of the pack first. But both jammers have caught up to each other and are both dead in the middle of the pack.
Full minute gone in this jam. Dolly Ruger knocked down on the outside once again. This time by Millie Malice, again from Ramuski. 4 more points going to LeBouche. She's coming around, may get the jammer point here. She does, through with little effort, Obi. And that's a grand slam, first of the game. Or it should have been a grand slam. 12-4 is the score. Jam continues. Millie Malice making room for Rapidas as she comes through. Picks up another pass.
Both jammers neck and neck as they come back up on the rear of the pack. Trying for the inside. Both of them. One takes the inside, one takes the outside. Both make it through. 4 points to both of them.
And with 2 seconds left in the jam, the signal from the bench is to call it off. LeBouche deciding to run the clock on the first jam of the game. Even though getting lead jammer, they did pull up a 9-point advantage in that first jam. Make that a 10-point advantage. 22-12. It was going to be a palindrome score.
It's a very fluid score.
It is. And again, if you're wondering why we aren't announcing jammers absolutely immediately as soon as they line up on the line, we are lined up on turn 1, watching the action, and we will get their names as quickly as we can. Jammer from the Neophytes goes down as the front wall of LeBouche collapses. That is number 777. That is Mistress of Mayhem from Cochrane Roller Derby, picking up lead jammer for the Neophytes.
Jammer for the Bouche, Candela Arnac, makes it out into the free and open spaces.
Candela from Montreal Roller Derby. And she has made her way around the pack as well, as in there scoring points, making her way out for the first complete scoring pass. Mistress of Mayhem, that's 4 points for the Neophytes, and there's 4 points for the ladies from Quebec.
Mistress of Mayhem had quite the smack on the Bouche's blocker as she went through the first time, and doing it again. Lots of aggression coming from her. Hard hit now.
Yes, La Grande Noisseur at the front wearing the pivot stripe, getting through for a pass once again, number 304, Candela Arnac. Grande Noisseur doing a great job blocking for LeBouche. Kept Mistress Mayhem in there to allow her jammer to get through, and she's coming around, Candela coming around on another scoring pass. Mistress of Mayhem picked up 4 points, and quickly through for another 4 points is Candela Arnac.
Mistress of Mayhem sliding into the pack and losing all momentum, coming up on a big wall of yellow. Trying to shopping cart her way through that, but no quarter given. Does find her way eventually out.
Oh, and a forearm penalty has been called on Candela Arnac. She's going to go to the penalty box for 30 seconds. Big advantage for the Neophytes, and they call it off. Rookie tournament, lots of interesting things happen during rookie tournaments. Again, all these skaters, for the most part, have only been skating for about a year and generally have less than 5 bouts of experience under their belt.
Pretty amazing derby considering that.
That is the learning curve of derby has been fantastic, and it just the ability that skaters have as they come into this game now is way more than it was than you would have seen 6 years ago, 7 years ago, in the heyday of Canadian roller derby. Another jam on the way, 36-24 is the score for LeBouche. Trying to get out first is going to be number 55, or 455 is it? It's Vigilante Fancy, I believe. Or it could be, no, it is not. It's Joan of Anarchy. It's a very tiny SH by the 55. And she's through for 5 points, a grand slam on this power jam. Power jam now over as Candela Arnac gets out of the penalty box. Power jam penalties are only 30 seconds. That's under the new rule set. Even though we're only playing 20-minute games, we are using the full WRTDA rule set. And Joan looks like she's going to get another scoring pass. She calls it off just as Candela Arnett gets through the pack. A 9-point jam for Neophytes. And it's now a 36 to 33 point game. Obi.
6 minutes gone into this 20-minute bout. Only a 3-point difference between the teams. Looks like the penalty box has completely emptied at this point, so full contingent of blockers and jammers on the jam line.
And again, as we indicated at the beginning of this game, both of these teams made up from skaters from a fairly wide area. Les Bouches from skaters from Quebec, and they're going to get lead jammer. This time
Rapidas.
We got Rapidas once again out there, number 8. Again, one of the skaters from Rimouski's league. And still stuck in the pack, number 777. That's Mistress of Mayhem from Cochrane. And she's getting cycled back there, Obi.
Rapidas just squeezes her way through. Takes a full 5-point grand slam in the bank for Les Bouches.
That'll extend their lead to 8 points. Le Grand Noisseur just running over Mistress of Mayhem at the front of the pack, cycling her back, doing a great job on defense. But a back block by Rapidas is going to send her to the penalty box. Second power jam in a row for the Neophytes, Obi. A real opportunity for the skaters from Northern Ontario. We've got ourselves a star pass.
Star pass going to 316M Firewalker of the Neophytes. And she's all on her own out there on a power jam.
Firewalker playing for the Gold City Derby Girls up in Timmins.
That was a slamwich right there as she came through, taking one from each side. Number 92, Slamantha, being part of that.
And she does the same thing once again. Sort of absorbs both the hits, and out of play penalty is being called on number 92 from Les Bouches. Slamantha. Now only 2 blockers left on the track for the ladies from Quebec, but the jammer is out of the penalty box. Rapidas through the pack and actually picking up points because she had been on her scoring pass when she went to the penalty box. This jam will go the full 2 minutes once again with both jammers scoring, Obi.
Yep, Firewalker didn't have much of a problem there. She's just taken the inside track twice in a row.
And at the moment with that 4-point pass, the Neophytes have taken the lead. However, 4 points were also scored by Rapidas, and that's going to put Les Bouches up to 49. We're going to get an official review from Conas Lababert, who actually skated as part of the Smash Squad from Montreal 2 years ago, and then was here as the coach for Les Bouches last year, where they won the championship. The Smash Squad also winning it the year before, and now coaching again. So the skaters from Quebec looking for a three-peat, but in tight against the skaters from Northern Ontario.
Big time. That last jam started with a 3-point difference, ended with a 3-point difference despite a lot of scoring going on. 2 very well-matched teams going on right here, especially even considering the put-together team from Northern Ontario.
So I think, well, we have a bit of an official timeout going on. We'll quickly go over the rosters. From Les Bouches, Ultrasonic is playing. She's actually from Cornwall. A couple skaters from Cornwall's league has come along. Mamzelle Petat is from Trois-Rivières. Badelaine from Rimouski. Millie Malice from Rimouski. Candela Arnac from Montreal. Camionette from Montreal. Bubble Bum from Trois-Rivières. La Grande Noisseur, again from Montreal. Gonads from Cornwall. Rapidas from Rimouski. Mazo Curry from Rimouski. And Samantha from Cornwall. And from the Neophytes, if you all go through, I can name where the skaters are from.
Yeah, you tell me where they're from, I'll say the
right.
name. So we got Dolly Ruger.
She's from Cochrane.
Firewalker.
Timmins.
Smile and Go.
She's from Nickel City, from Sudbury.
Vigilante Fancy.
Also from Sudbury.
Bora Hardcore.
Also from Sudbury.
Mistress of Mayhem.
From Cochrane.
Jenny Bruiser.
From Temiskaming, apparently.
I love saying that one. Sally Slingshot.
From Timmins as well.
And Joan of Anarchy.
From Sudbury. So a real mix. Both teams are made up with skaters from 4 different leagues. And I think both teams have been playing very well together. I noticed that they seem to be pairing up skaters from similar leagues out there, which is probably a good choice from a coaching standpoint.
We're almost at the halfway point of this game. 10 minutes and 16 seconds are remaining. Again, with only 3-point difference, this one is, I predict, is going to come right down to the final jam. That's my prediction.
We do like those games when they come down like that. Yeah, again, we're playing 28 games today over 2 tracks. They're all 20 minutes until we get down to the last couple. The 3-4 game and the 1-2 game, I believe, are 30-minute games. Exhausting day for these skaters, especially when some of them are bouting for their very first time. This is a fresh meat tournament. It is a learning tournament both for skaters, referees, and announcers. Obi, I'm happy to have you on the stream. Is this the first time you've been on the stream, or have you been on before?
First time on the stream.
Oh my God, this is fantastic. And it's like you've always been here.
Sweet.
So yes, quick 20-minute games. If you ever watch Beast of the East out in Montreal, which happens every April, which is a home team tournament, it's spread out over 2 days because they only have 1 track. And again, the way we like to describe the games out there is that each game is a sprint, but the tournament itself is a marathon. That goes double for today because you are playing all of your games in 1 day. There is no rest. It is a double elimination tournament until you get a couple games in, and then it becomes lose and you're out. So, but the first couple games you're allowed to lose a game and still advance. So I think it is for the first 3 rounds, and this is the 3rd game on this track of the first round. There'll be the Thickets from Forest City against the Renegade Derby Dames Fresh Meat team from Alliston, Ontario. They're coming up next on this track. That will complete the Bubbles first round, and then we'll have the winners face off against the losers. So the winner of this game will face off against the winner of the Thickets versus the Renegade Derby Dames, and the loser will face off against that as well.
That's right. We already have the Rebel Rollers going up against Queen's Court at 140, and Windsor Assault against the Gravediggers at 220.
So that, and again, the Rebel Rollers and Queen's Court, those teams will be able to lose 1 game, but the other game will be an elimination game, which is always exciting.
All right, I think I'm getting a good idea now. It looks like Dolly Ruger for the Neophytes up against Camionette for Les Bouches on the jam line.
Didn't see any scoring adjustments or anyone going to the penalty box for anything, so I don't know what happened during that official review, but
there's
we'll
one booch in the penalty box right now. Neck and neck, but making it out first. Dolly Ruger for the Neophytes getting lead jammer.
Camionette, the captain of Le Bouche, looking a little frustrated. She is one of the skaters to watch in this tournament. Wow, both skaters just absolutely hammering that back. Oh!
Full speed straight into the back. Dolly Ruger, the only one to survive and make it out. Off to the penalty box goes Camionette.
That is the danger of hitting a pack so hard. Camionette to the penalty box. Big opportunity for Dolly Ruger. She's already picked up the lead for the Neophytes. She had made it through on that first pass. Now the defense trying to lock down 2x4. That once again is Millie Malice from Rimouski trying to hold her back, but Dolly Ruger's going to get through. 5 points in that one, Obi.
Bad Lane was giving Dolly a very hard time as she went through last time. A couple of hard hits to her shoulder. She managed to keep her skates, though, and made it all the way around. Now she's stuck right in the middle of the pack. It is a derby sandwich in the middle there.
Power jam is over. Camionette out of the penalty box. Picks up 4 points for Rimouski. Not for Rimouski, for Les Bouches. She's actually from Montreal, so she picks them up from Montreal. But they're all pooled together in the Les Bouches score. Dolly getting out 4 points. Camionette also getting out for another 4 points. So the trading points right here. Dolly Ruger calls it off. We'll just check the scoreboard at the end of that jam, but I do believe the Neophytes are now in the lead. The skaters from Northern Ontario taking it to the Quebecois, the defending champs. (59-56) is the score, as it changes as I announce it.
Still a 3-point game, but it switched the other way this time.
Let's make it 57. It's back on the scoreboard.
It's like shooting a moving target. That's Rapidas for the Booch. Coming near the front. Hardcore. Bora Hardcore jamming for the first time today for the Neophytes. Getting lead jammer.
Yeah, you know, that was all set up by Firewalker, the skater from Timmins for the Neophytes. She put just enough of a hit on number 8, Rapidas, for Les Bouches to hold her up and allow her jammer to get through first. Both jammers in the pack, ready to score now, though, Obi.
Bora Hardcore had a little bit of a trip and a fall there, but she got up quickly.
Pack crawling their way around turns 3 and 4, getting onto the straightaway. This should free up the blockers and the jammers. That Rapidas is going to pick up 4 points. Hardcore still trying to get through. Ultrasonic not wanting to let her out. Bubble Bum. Last line of defense. No, she's going to have to let her go. Rapidas is around another scoring pass. Yellow 3-1-4. That's the pivot.
Rapidas making a very smart decision there because she got one skate out. She did cycle back. She was unsure for a second, but pretty sure she would have been called for cutting if she had made it all the way through.
Always best to take yourself back if you do not know. Candela Arnac was the one who picked up the direction of gameplay for Les Bouches. In Neophytes with lead, a lot of these jams being run even when they have lead. Falls hard to the inside, almost had made her way out. But Bora Hardcore still fighting hard in that back. Ultrasonic providing the brace and allowing the other two Bouche blockers to hit blocking with the head. It's going to send number 89, Jenny Bruiser from Temiskaming, to the penalty box for 30 seconds. Jam gets called off. 4 more points for Les Bouches, 4 more points for the Neophytes. Just need to get the scoreboard updated before we tell you things. It's the score going in strange directions.
Pretty sure we have had a lead change, though. Les Bouches back in the lead by 2 points this time, 69 to the Neophytes, 67. 5 minutes and 53 seconds remaining.
So a 2-point game.
In
the way these jams were going, that could only be 2 or 3 more jams.
Joan of Anarchy quickly out front gets lead jammer.
Cami Annette, once again, not lead jammer, but right on her tail.
Oh! Both jammers go down in a bundle, and there goes Joan of Anarchy to the penalty box.
Yeah, picked up a low block, knocking down Millie Melise. Failure to reform on Patat will send her to the penalty box, but there's a power jam for Cami Annette. Exactly what Les Bouches need with only 2 blockers on the track. Coming out of the penalty box is Jenny Bruiser. She'll rejoin the pack, but 5 points by Cami Annette extends Les Bouches' lead.
This is their absolute perfect chance to put up some insurance to make sure the Neophytes can't get back to them. 1 more nickel in the bank for Les Bouches.
Sally Slingshot out of the penalty box, so she rejoins, but it looks like Firewalker is going to go for a failure to reform. It's that pack definition. You got to have a pack. Joan of Anarchy again, hammering that back wall of yellow. Bodies go flying. The Camionette's through for another 5 points. Big jam for the...
I wouldn't have called that an apex jump, but she did a little bit of a tiptoe dance as she went around the inside of the track there.
Modified apex jump. So the captain from Montreal Roller Derby on Les Bouches doing a real number on the Neophytes in this jam. Already putting up 25 points.
Is there a name for that?
It's a Grand Slam of Grand Slams.
Someone called it a unicorn to me once.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes they call it that. The Narwhal.
The narwhal.
Camionette for another 5 points. Joan of Anarchy not having a lot of luck. Finally getting out. Badelen had a nice hit on her, but couldn't put her out of bounds. Jam ends. 4 points for the Neophytes. No additional points for Les Bouches. We're down to 3 minutes and 40 seconds. We went from a 2-point lead to a 28-point lead in the blink of an eye. That's roller derby, Obi.
Team timeout quickly being called by Les Bouches. I think I might have been wrong about my prediction then. Might not come down to the final jam.
But technically it always comes down to the final jam. It's just whether or not it's close enough for someone to win.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
So again, yes, if you are watching at home and you want to know, hey, when are these teams going to play next? Well, the winner will play at 3 o'clock, again on the bubble track. And the loser will play at 3:40, once again on the bubble track. If you lose, you can lose one more game, and then you are out. If you win, you can still lose a game in advance, at least until your next game, in which case you can get eliminated at that point. This is the third game on the bubble court. Should be on the other track. Fox Force 5 from Orangeville facing off against the Host League Derby debutantes. And then we will have the Thickets and Renegade Derby Dames coming up next on this track at 1 o'clock. Not too long from now. It is 12:43 on the clock in the house. 20-minute games, 20-minute gaps. Not a lot of room for delays at the Fresh and the Furious. Again, Le Bouche in the yellow, Neophytes in the white. Obi, who do we have?
Looks like Cami Annette for Le Bouche. Out front first, getting lead jammer. Jammer for the Neophytes is 777, Mistress of Mayhem, finally making it out into the free and open spaces. Cami Annette seeing that though, easily makes her way through, takes her 4 points. Not shutting it down though.
And the back block's going to send the Mistress of Mayhem to the penalty box. That's going to give Cami Annette another power jam. She put up 34 points, 32 points in the last jam. I think just 30 points in the last jam. It was a lot of points.
And that puts the final nail in the coffin for the Neophytes.
I suspect
there's no recovery from this. Again, my prediction.
That, of course, being the announcer curse, everything will go completely wrong now. No, I think you're right. And Le Bouche have gone with Cami Annette for 3 out of the last 4 jams. She's the captain. She's a very strong skater from Montreal Roller Derby. And she's showing that she will be a force to be reckoned with within that already tough league. And that's one of the great things to see at the Fresh and Furious tournament. You get these views of the future of roller derby at various leagues. 5 more points for Cami Annette.
I was very impressed with the first 2 games. There wasn't a lot of penalties that were affecting the outcome of the game too much. There was the occasional power jam, but they were mostly trading them back and forth. And it didn't come to the point where we have here, where in the final couple of minutes you get a power jam which, seals the deal. The other ones, even though one of them wasn't close, they still came down to very good games near the end.
Again, Le Bouche running this jam the full 2 minutes. They have lead. They are giving up points to Mistress of Mayhem, but they're not worried about rankings or anything like that. It's just straight up win in advance, lose, and get relegated to the elimination round. And Conan is going to ask for another timeout. Wonder if she's going to rest Cami Annette. They have built a nice 44-point lead over the last 2 jams. They were only up by 2 points 2 jams ago. Oh, wait, it's even more. It's 50 points. So 48 points they have added over the last 2 jams.
Wow. I think we have Bad Lynn.
That is correct. Bad Lynn jamming.
Going up against Dolly Ruger.
And a little bit of a switch up on the track for blockers. Cami Annette going out there to block. I'm also seeing Gonads from Cornwall.
So much for giving Cami Annette a rest.
No rest for the wicked. Rapidas is also out there, and that is Candela Arnak.
We got 1 neophyte in the sin bin, so they only got 3 out there, giving the pack advantage to Le Bouche. I keep saying that. Is Bouche or Bouche?
But,
Who
I don't
knows?
think there's any ch in it. I think it's just Bush.
Bush.
That's, again, my horrible French. Anyone in Quebec who's listening saying, yeah, that's really not how it's pronounced. Yeah, you're probably right, but that's how it's being pronounced by us in Ontario. So Le Bouche was putting out a hand-picked line of blockers. They shut down Dolly Ruger. That's going to allow number 225, Badelen, to get lead jammer. And with only a minute left on the period clock, Les Bouches can run this out if they wish. We will see what the strategy is. Dolly Ruger out of the penalty box. I think Les Bouches will be happy to trade points for time on the clock.
There really no skin off their nose if they just keep going around for another minute and 26 seconds.
And, you know, they are quite serious about wanting to defend their title. There is not a single skater on this team that played in the last tournament because it's a too fresh tournament. You can't play twice, but they really want to prove that Quebec Roller Derby is the powerhouse, and all the new bodies will continue to keep it there.
Gonad's going to have a sit in the penalty box for a multiplayer block. I don't know if there's something nasty to be said about that.
Nice hit at the front containing Dolly Ruger. Was Rapidas, but she did not knock her out of bounds. Dolly Ruger able to get up, pick up 4 points for the Neophytes. The period clock has now ticked to 0. We are on the jam clock, and Quinnan on the bench is asking her jammer to call off, but she does not. She does a star pass instead.
Star pass over to Camionette, who now has all the perks of being the jammer.
One of those perks being that she's a target, but a target that was completely missed by the Neophytes as she threw on the inside for 4 more points for Les Bouches. Dolly Ruger threw for 4 more points, so that's going to get them over the 100-point mark as well.
Do you get the feeling Camionette was put out there for this purpose?
She may have been. But again, very astute observation, Obi, just in case. I think Les Bouches felt fairly confident with their lead going into this, but very nice backup plan just in case they ran it again the full 2 minutes. As you lose lead jammer status, we're going to wait for the scoreboard to update, but I'll tell you straight up, the skaters from Quebec have advanced in their first game at Too Fresh, Too Furious. The Fresh and the Furious, I guess. Used to be Too Fresh, Too Furious. It's had various names over the years.
Freshy Furious, sir.
It was that once, the freshest and the furiousest. But anyways, looks like the score is going to be 150 to 107. Rest will check the math. The skaters in yellow from Quebec will advance.
Of course, they update that just as we say that.
Yeah, you know.
Neophytes up at 105. Now we have an anagram for a score, 150 to 105.
Oh, it's not officially a drink under the roller derby drinking game, but
take one anyways.
Yeah, take one anyways. Just for having tuned in, you get to have a drink.
I'm very much looking forward to see Les Bouches play the next game.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing them play, I suspect, all day long, as they will be a tough team to take down in this tournament.
And that's why we're here.
It is. We're here to see if anyone can beat Les Bouches.
That's right.
Or anyone else. We cheer for roller derby at the Fresh and the Furious. We cheer for no team.
I cheer for the winners.
And the losers.
Okay, I cheer for the losers.
I cheer for everyone.
I don't like the word losers.
No,
it's got to be another name.
The non-winners.
Right. The second place team.
That's right. The number 2s.
Oh, no, that's not good.
Oh, I guess not. Les Bouches, the victors, the Neophytes taking their victory lap. Again, not winning, but victory lap nonetheless, as everyone is a winner if you play roller derby. Neophytes will move on to play the loser of the next game, which is happening at 1 o'clock, which is like 9 minutes from now. So I guess we're going to take a break soon. And Les Bouches will play at 3 o'clock. Neophytes at 3:40. I'm Captain Lou Albamo.
And I'm Obi Sirius.
We're going to take a little bit of a break, and you can tune in. Sadly, you got to listen to me for another 20 minutes. Obi, I think, has to go to the other track.
I do.
If you like him better, go tune into the Ted Reeve Arena track. You'll get to hear Obi.
And with that, I will say au revoir and goodbye.
And adieu. And welcome back to the Ted Reeve Arena Bubble Court, where we're going to have action between the Thickets from Forest City Derby Girls facing off against the Renegade Derby Dames Fresh Meat Team. Both these teams' regular color is green. The coin toss, I believe, was lost by the Thickets. They will be wearing black. RDD will be wearing the green. And we will get action underway very quickly as we try to keep these games on track all day long. Can't get too far behind. 20-minute games, 20-minute breaks. Sometimes warm-ups suffer, but the games must go on. I'm Captain Lou Alabama. I will hopefully be joined by somebody at some point in time. But until then, yes, stuck with me. I'll go a quick run through of the rosters. I don't have the exact roster who's playing for the Renegade Derby Days, but I am going to go through every single skater who was given to me as playing for the Renegade Derby Dames Fresh Meat Team. They are in green. 121 is Reckless Envy, 14 Cassin Crunch, 1986 FM Radio, 1996 Little Mayhem, 23 Mayman Magoo, 231 Crazy Squirrel. Watch for her. She had an exemption granted to be able to play in this tournament, which means she has a little more experience than others, but the exemption was granted, so she's allowed to play. 38 Busty Limbs, 3G Bad Decisions, 416 Darlington Stripe, 503 Stinging Beaver, 524 Riot Rhythm, 55 Catastrophic, 6x7 6x7 Scandinavian, 77 Amygdala Hijacker, 830 Misbehavin', 99 Shatterproof, AK-35 Sugar Bandit, and H13 Hissy Fit. Over on the Thickets, you've got number 1414 from Forest City Derby Girls. That's Nightwing. She was leading her team in the warm-ups. 17 Low Key, 1958 Herbivore, 1982 Smiley Whiplash, 268 Dixie Check. 333 Garth Helgar. 4 is Vote for Pedro. A mainstay with Forest City finally getting the bout with wheels on her feet. Very exciting to see Vote for Pedro out there. 419 Nasty Nags. 456 Chatternox. 5,000 the captain is Fembot. 74 Screamsicle. 986 Rain in Blood. Interesting to note on the Thickets, both Nasty Nags and Fembot are on the charter roster, the WFTDA charter roster for the skaters from London, the Timber Rollers from the Forest City Derby Girls. So look for both of those players to make a big difference in this game. Looks like they're going to go with Fembot right away for the Thickets. And I will spot the Renegade skaters, Scandinavian or Amygdala. Let's check. Jamming away, both jammers bursting through. That's going to be low key number 17, who I don't have on my list. No, sorry, low key is, I got the numbers all mixed up because I'm used to Forest City being in green. It's Misbehavin', number 530 for Renegade Derby Dames. Low key getting lead for the Thickets. Lead jammer going to Forest City. Jam gets called off. 4 points going on the board. Again, Forest City in black. Renegades in green. It's going to be Nightwing versus Crazy Squirrel. Again, watch for Crazy Squirrel. She has a figure skating background. Quite skilled. I know the Thickets were quite worried about her. We'll see how she does. Moves to the inside, now moves to the outside. Great lateral movement. And she's going to get out of the pack first. Lead jammer going to the Renegades. But you know, Nightwing also getting on the pack, so we got ourselves a jammer race. Crazy Squirrel trying to keep the gap. The pack at a crawl. Crazy Squirrel's going to be hitting that pack hard. Absorbs a hit, continues on her way through the pack, calls off the jam. How many points? 4 for Crazy Squirrel and a single. 2 points for Nightwing. So a 4-2 jam for the Renegade Derby Dames Fresh Meat Team. But the Thickets able to pick up 2 points, continue their lead of 6-4. Those 2 points are the lead at the moment. just over 18 minutes remaining in the game. Again, 20-minute games. These are sprints. And speaking of sprints, Low Key looked to have lead jammer, and she does have lead jammer. Coming through that wall, went down on one knee. As soon as she got up, picked up that lead jammer status, knocked to the inside with number 524, Riot Rhythm. She's finally got out of the pack, but Low Key has already motored her way around, picked up 5 points, picking up that jammer point from Rhythm. And now is looking to play a little jammer defense. Question of whether she's going to call. She does. She gets knocked to the ground. Did she pick up any more points, or did she give up any points? 1 fist in the air, 2 fists in the air, no points on the board. So nice jammer defense by Low Key, holding back Riot Rhythm. And Forest City's Thickets able to take an 11-4 lead now, 7 points. Very tight jam so far. Looks like the penalty box is clear, so we've got 5-on-5 roller derby action. And looking for an inside line is Nightwing, now going to the outside. And on the inside for the Fresh Meat Roller Renegade Derby Dames is 3G. That's a bad decision. She's going to get through first. She's going to get lead jammer, so the team's able to treat lead jammer. Oh, Scandal. Scandinavian was inverted blocking, got absolutely run over by Nightwing, is holding her tailbone. Looked like it was a hard hit. Nightwing's coming around a scoring pass. She's going to pick up some points before this jam gets called off. I'm seeing 3-4 on that pass. So again, a little bit slow on the call-offs. The Renegade Derby Dames giving up points to Forest City. That's 5 points so far they've given up with the late call-offs. And that is the difference in the scoreboard is 6. So it's something that jammers need to learn. It's one of the things about a fresh meat tournament, that you grow as the tournament continues along. Low Key jamming once again for the Thickets. And she's pushing that pack forward. The pack has separated. Low Key's going to have to be released as out-of-play blocking and failure to reforms are being issued to the Renegade Derby Dame blockers. And Cass and Crunch is stuck at the back and trying to get through. Trips over Fembot. Number 1986 also going to the penalty box for the Renegade Derby Dames. That's FM Radio. 5 points for Low Key. And the Forest City Derby Girls Thickets are really starting to hammer out a lead in this game. Still stuck in the pack. There's bad decisions. And the star pass has occurred, although it may have been an illegal star pass. I'm not sure where it happened. Not going to be called, so that's fine. We'll carry on with the Fresh Meat team from Alliston now having Riot Rhythm as their jammer, but lead is still with Low Key from the Thickets. Low Key with another scoring pass, 4 points. She looks like she's hungry for Riot Rhythm's jammer point, but she's not going to risk Riot Rhythm hitting the pack and picking up any points. She calls off the jam, but a huge jam for the Thickets and Low Key. 33 points to 8 is the score now, and what was a close game 2 minutes ago has turned into a 25-point lead for the Forest City Derby Girls. Lots of time left in this 20-minute bout. 14 and a half minutes remaining. Once again, Forest City in the black. Renegade Derby Dames in the green. And taking an outside line for the Thickets. That's Chatternock, number 456. She gets lead jammer. And number 416, that's Darlington Stripe. Finally getting out of the pack for the Fresh Meat team from Alliston. Coming in on her scoring pass, 1 to beat, knocked to the outside by the pivot. That's number 830, misbehaving. Forces the call off, a timeout being called by the Renegade Derby Dames. You get 2 timeouts, 1 official review for each team in these 20-minute games. It is a double elimination tournament. Thickets managed to pick up 4 points in that last pass, last jam, by the way. So score now 37-8, 29 points separating the teams. So yeah, 20-minute games, 2 timeouts, 1 official review. If you lose 1 game, that's fine. If you lose 2 games, you're gone. The winner of this game will move on to play against the winner of the previous game at 3 o'clock. That was Les Bouches from a team made up of skaters from Quebec and some skaters from Cornwall. And they had a very impressive performance against the Neophytes, which is a team made up of skaters from various Northern Ontario leagues. So the loser of this game will play at 3:40 against the Neophytes, which is a very tough team. And the loser of that game will be eliminated from this tournament. If you win this game and you lose your next game, you still advance because it is double elimination. It's double elimination at least until the first 2 rounds are done. This is actually the last game, game 8 of the first round. All the teams, all 15 teams will have played 1 game. Well, actually 14 teams have played 1 game. As we had a team drop out, so Our Lady of Pain from Royal City will not be playing till 1:40. But they still get the double elimination on their side. Jam underway. Timeout over. Crazy Squirrel getting an out of play. She'll end up go to the penalty box. That out of play meant that Low Key was able to come in. And Low Key coming around after getting lead jammer runs into the Darlington stripe. Both skaters get knocked out of bounds. Darlington stripe cycles herself to the back. Low Key continues on as they were both at the front of the pack, so no need for either one to really come back in as they both went out of bounds. A track cut has been issued to Cass and Crunch, number 14. Nope. That's number 74 from Screamsicle that got the track cut. Cass and Crunch is still in the pack. Now out of the pack. 5 points for Low Key from Forest City Thickets. The Renegade Derby Dames jammer out. We're going to have to see if she calls it off in time. No, she does not. Cass and Crunch finds an inside line, untouched by the trees of Forest City. And picks up 4 points for the Renegade Derby Dames. First points in 3 jams for the Renegade Derby Dames. Thickets had been on a nice run. Score is 46-12. Make that 45-12. And this is a learning tournament both for the skaters, officials, and sometimes the announcers. 12 minutes remaining in this game. 33 points separating the team. Forest City's Thickets in the black. See who's jamming. Looks like Nightwing. Nightwing goes inside. Nice little bump, knocking the jammer from the Renegade Derby Dames out of bounds. She comes back in, fights off a block, and picks up lead jammer. That's number 6x7, Scandinavian, who had a hard fall as Nightwing knocked her to the ground earlier, 3 jams ago. But obviously well enough to get back up and pick up lead jammer for her team. She's back. She calls off the jam. Did she call off in time? No points and no points. So neither team able to pick up points. Nice defense. Good awareness on the part of the Thickets from Forest City, holding back the jammer Scandinavian from the Renegade Derby Dames, preventing her from getting any points. Again, I indicated that there were a couple skaters, both Nasty Nags and Fembot, who are playing a fairly high level early on in their career already, but they are rookies. That's one of the great things about this tournament, to see who will be the bright lights, the future of roller derby. Lead jammer going to Low Key, still fighting at the back of the pack. That Little Mayhem, number 1996, she bops her way through the pack. Low Key coming around on a scoring pass. Nice opener by Screamsicle. Opens that wall up for a jammer easily through his Low Key. 4 more points for Forest City, and they continue to roll up their lead. 37 points separating these teams now. Coming down just about to the halfway mark in this game. Nightwing taking the star. Looks like that's what the Thickets are going to be running. Nightwing and Low Key, and I can't really argue with it, as they've had great success so far in this game. Nice little hit to the ground, slides through on a knee and comes back up. It's number 830, Misbehaving. She'll pick up lead jammer for the Renegade Derby Dames fresh meat team. High block going to Scandinavian, number 6x7. She'll try to get to the penalty box, but she's stuck on the inside of the track. Now she gets out for her 30-second penalty, but 5 points for misbehaving in the defense of the Renegade Derby Dames. Really locking down now and able to prevent Nightwing for a full scoring pass. 4 points for misbehaving. That's 9 points on the Jam, more than doubling the Renegade Derby Dames score. There is enough time on the clock. Apparently 2 more points on that last Jam. Fair enough. So that was a 13-point Jam. It happens. 49-21 is the score, and as I was saying, with just under 9 minutes to go, there is time for the RDD, Renegade Derby Dames fresh meat team from Alliston, Ontario, to come back in this game with only 28 points separating their teams. And Crazy Squirrel, with a push to the inside, knocks Fembot out of bounds and gets lead jammer. Fembot taking an outside line, accelerating away through the turn. She's out as well. A track cut is going to send 4-1-6 Darlington Stripe to the penalty box. Crazy Squirrel through the pack easily picks up 4 points from the Renegade Derby Dames. Question is, does she want to risk Fembot coming through? She's going to let it run. Fembot knocked it out of bounds. Oh, and a big apex jump. Lands it. 5 points for Crazy Squirrel. And Renegade Derby Dames with a big push. And Fembot's heading to the penalty box for a track cut. Crazy Squirrel with an opportunity to really pull the Renegade Derby Dames back into this bout. Another grand slam. Again, Crazy Squirrel able to get the exemption to play in this bout. Started skating with Royal City, I believe, back in 2011. Had a 9-month injury, which allowed her to qualify for this tournament, though, as she has not had a ton of skating time. Knocked to the inside. The score is only 9 points separating these teams. The power jam is just about over as Fembot comes back onto the track, and Crazy Squirrel with great agility juking from the outside to the inside. Another 5 points, a huge jam for Crazy Squirrel. And that brings Renegade Derby Dames to within 4 points of the thickets. And what was a fairly sizable lead 2 jams ago has closed rapidly with the efforts of Crazy Squirrel. Yes, Crazy Squirrel starting with Royal City briefly, playing with the Fergus Femmes as well this year and a bit last year, and also on the Renegade Derby Dames charter roster, I believe, playing with the Striking Vikings. Very talented skater. And it's one of those things about these fresh meat tournaments, we're getting an official timeout. I'm not sure if it's gone to an official review. Looks like Renegade Derby Dames had been in the center asking for some clarification on something. They were the ones who called the timeout. So let's see if we get a clarification. The announcer ref generally has been helping the in-house ref, but I have the benefit of having the tournament head ref, Jules and Regulations, sitting beside me during this game. So with any luck, I will get some clarification on what this is, and I'll be able to share it with you people who are sitting at home. And if you're wondering if action ever stops at the Fresh and the Furious tournament, the answer is no, because we have 28 games that we need to get through. This is game number 8. We're on 2 different tracks, and right after this game is done, pretty much at 1:40, this game is going to go a bit longer than usual. At 1:40, we're going to get South Simcoe Roller Rebels facing off against the Queen's Court. Those are both the fresh teams. South Simcoe out of Barrie, Ontario. Queen City RollerGirls Queen's Court out of Buffalo, New York. This is an international tournament that also crosses provincial borders. Lots of fresh meat teams from all over the area. Those teams will be facing off, and they both won their first games. So it will not be an elimination game, but if they win that game, they will go to the quarterfinals and play at 5:40. And at that point, the double elimination tournament is over, I believe. Yes, it is. At that point, if you lose, you're done. So you're guaranteed at least 2 games. And then the loser of that game will have to play a little earlier. They have to play at 4:20. They will play the winner of the losers game from this group and the previous group, which was the neophytes. I've got some clarification here. So there was an apex jump by Crazy Squirrel during that previous jam. And when Crazy Squirrel landed it, she landed 1 foot inbounds, but 1 foot trailed behind. That is what the thickets from Forest City claimed. The official review was upheld. The review was confirmed, so the penalty was not called during the previous jam. But the track cut was called as a result of the official review. The referees agreed with the call. So that is going to send Crazy Squirrel to the penalty box. It will allow a power jam for the thickets from Forest City. So with 7 minutes and 14 seconds remaining, this will be a power jam, a full 30-second power jam for Forest City. And they're sending Low Key out there, who has had great success against 3 blockers from Alliston. I see Hissy Fit. And I see Little Mayhem, and with virtually no effort, Low Key is through. I'm also seeing Catastrophic. So they were unable to hold back Low Key for very long. Low Key looking for perhaps some help. Chatternox coming up to provide an assistance. Catastrophic went down after being pounded down on her hip. And 5 points picked up by Low Key. Low Key coming around on another scoring pass. Power jam is over. Crazy Squirrel back on the track. 5 more points for Low Key. Crazy Squirrel trying to pick her way through that pack after serving that penalty for the track cut that was not called in the previous. Oh, a back block. A back block on Low Key sends her to the penalty box. It's now turned into a power jam for Crazy Squirrel. And the 10 points that the thickets put up in the previous 45 seconds. Oh, a big hit to the inside. Crazy Squirrel cycles herself back. Another big hit to the outside. Great defense. I was vote for Pedro. Nice hit, Pedro. And Pedro coming in for another hit. Does she get her? No. Bounces off, and Crazy Squirrel through for 5 points. Power jam almost over for Low Key. Both jammers will be on the track. It'll be a 2-minute jam as we're down to a 9-point game once again. Crazy Squirrel coming around on a scoring pass, looking to get her way through the wall of thickets. Chatternox knocks her to the ground. Low Key back on the track. Renegade Derby Dames were unaware she made it through virtually untouched on the outside. 5 points for Crazy Squirrel going into jammer defense mode. 4 points for Low Key. Crazy Squirrel with a single-point advantage on that last pass. Crazy Squirrel coming through on another apex jump. Lands it, but is hit down to the inside. She has to reset. Low Key comes through, picks up 4 points. No more points for Crazy Squirrel. Time runs out in the jam. We're going to have to see what the final result of the scoring was in that jam. Currently 67-55. So it looks like swapping power jams, the thickets still managed to pull out 8 extra points in that jam, as it was a 4-point differential at the end of the previous jam. So nice work on the part of the Forest City Derby Girls. They reset. We're down to the under 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes remaining in this game. Jam underway. Fembot really working over bad decisions. And Nightwing going down to the ground. Nightwing with a back block. She's going to go to the penalty box. Now the question is, can the Renegade Derby Dames Fresh Meat squad get their jammer out of the pack? The Forest City Derby Girls Thickets are locking down. A no pack is called. Thickets have to let her go. Screamsicle is going to go to the penalty box for an out-of-play block. And that's lead jammer going to bad decisions. Bad decisions is lead jammer. Fembot pushing Dixie check to the inside, getting a nice piece of bad decisions. And now Fembot taking control. And bad decisions is through. She picks up 5 points, calls off the jam. And that should move the Renegade Derby Dames fresh meat team to 60 points, just 7 small points behind the Thickets with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this game. Game got tight in a hurry, and there are not a lot of blockers on the track. 3-on-3, 1 blocker aside. Low Key taking the star for the Thickets from Forest City. And that is for Renegade Derby Dames getting lead jammer number 416, the Darlington Stripe. And Low Key picks up a track cut, and it's once again for the 3rd jam in a row, a power jam for Renegade Derby Dames. And through for 5 points is Darlington Stripe. And the game is down to 2 points. Power jam continues. Big hit to the inside. This time by Nasty Nags. Cycling her to the back, Chatternox is at the back of the pack. She gets knocked down by Crazy Squirrel, who is blocking this jam. Power jam is over. And Low Key is out of the pack now. So the question is, will she call it off in time? Darlington Stripe does call it off in time. She picks up 5 points on that last pass, and we have ourselves a lead change with under 2 minutes remaining in the game. And a timeout is called by the Thickets of Forest City. Torque and Bad Pit want to reset for what could be the last jam of this game. Again, if you win this game, you've got a better chance of making it into the Final Four than if you lose it. If you lose, you still have a chance to move on. But winning is the optimal path forward in a double elimination tournament. Winners will go on to Fay Les Bouches from Quebec and Cornwall. And the losers will go on to fight the Neophytes at 3:40. Previous game at 3 o'clock. And games every 20 minutes. Every 40 minutes, really. You got 20 minutes a game, 20 minutes in between. We've used up 27 minutes of those 40 minutes. We still got 1 minute and 43 seconds remaining in this game. I'm Captain Lou Bamo. You are watching the Fresh and the Furious 2014 edition. Renegade Derby Dames Fresh Meat in green. The Thickets from Forest City. We're going to go to an official timeout after the timeout from the Forest City. Both teams, both crowds cheering for their disparate teams, trying to encourage them towards victory. 3 points separating them. Forest City Derby Girls Thickets in black. And I have to say the Thickets are my favorite name of the tournament, especially given that the Forest City Derby Girls are named the way they are. The Thickets are an entirely relevant name to their league name, and I think it's absolutely perfect for their fresh meat team. So who are we going to send to the line? Of course, Low Key is going to take the star for the Thickets. And Low Key has had a great game, picked up some penalty troubles as this game has continued. If you're wondering how many penalties you're allowed in these 20-minute games, you're allowed 4. Not the usual 7, you're allowed 4. But only one skater in difficulty right now for the Thickets. I believe it is Screamskull with 4 or 3. So she's still able to play. And we're going to get what could be the last jam of the game underway. Misbehaving, number 830 for the Renegade Derby Dames fresh meat team against Low Key. Forest City Thickets. Low Key taking a low stance, the inside line, tries to find her way through, but it's going to be a little misbehaving and lead jammer. Renegade Derby Dames in control of when this game ends. Crazy Squirrel able to knock Low Key out of bounds. Big, nice clutch block by the exemption skater for the Renegade Derby Dames. That's going to be a power jam, and that may be the nail in the coffin for the Thickets of Forest City. We're going to have to see what happens on this jam, though, as this is roller derby. This is first meet. You never know who's going to pick up a penalty. Gets through the pack, a little misbehaving. Or just misbehaving, sorry, a little misbehaving. Plays on a totally different team. Misbehaving through, picking up 5 points for the Renegade Derby Dames. And through again, another 5 points. That'll stretch the Renegade Derby Dames lead to 13 with that clutch hit by Crazy Squirrel, forcing that penalty on Low Key. Low Key, oh, big hit by Nasty Nags. The misbehaving goes down. The jam's going to get called off. I do not believe she tapped her hips, so I think that was just due to a skater being down. Entirely legal hit by Nasty Nags. She was inverted, got up on the toe stops. Perfect hit to the chest of Misbehavin'. And Misbehavin' just went down in a crumbled pile. So those sternum hits are just so tough to recover from. You lose your breath. All the wind gets knocked out of you. And that clutch hit by Nasty Nags not only stopped the jammer from scoring any more points, but stopped the clock with 16 points separating these teams. The EMTs are out there. They're taking a look at her. And she's checking her leg. I hope that nobody was injured on that play, especially Misbehaving, as she's the skater who is down. Again, it was a legal hit. But as you know from watching roller derby, sometimes injuries happen from legal hits. Sometimes injury happen by people just standing still and doing nothing. They are taking her skate off. And she doesn't seem too happy about the whole situation. I don't blame her. We do have 33 seconds left in this game, so we will get one more jam underway once the injury is taken care of. You see family members of Misbehaving walking by. They were going over to check how she was, but the EMTs let them know that they'd prefer to just work on her and see how she is. Next game on this track, once again, will be the South Simcoe Roller Rebels fresh meat team going up against Queens Court from Queen City RollerGirls, Buffalo, New York. They both won their first games, therefore neither team can be eliminated. If you just joined us, Thickets came out to a sizable lead, but then penalty troubles and some clutch skating by Crazy Squirrel of the Renegade Derby Dames, a skater who had an exemption granted so that she could play in this tournament. Crazy Squirrel able to put up big scoring passes and then a clutch hit in that last jam, forcing a track cut on Low Key. And then right at the end of that jam, a big hit by Nasty Nags on Misbehaving sent Misbehaving to the ground, where the EMTs are currently tending to her. So the EMTs are taking a look at her ankle. That seems to be the concern at the moment. It is Nobody likes to see anybody get hurt in this game. Hard hits are part of the game, and especially at a fresh meat tournament. You don't want to see any of the fresh meat getting injured. And yet, sometimes it happens. I will tell you that while the camera is not on Misbehavin', Misbehavin' is laughing. So we can hope that bodes well for her. However, this game will be delayed until they can take her off of the track, and they're not going to move her any sooner than they have to, because if there's any damage done to her ankle, they don't want to exacerbate that damage. So even though we have a schedule to follow, that schedule will be slowed up a bit, and that's all right, because that kind of stuff happens in tournaments like this. Fresh and the Furious is run on a very tight schedule, 20-minute games, 20-minute breaks. The time will be made up by shortening breaks as the games proceed. This game's not even done yet, people. It's 68 to 84. As I was saying, the Thickets started off this game really taking control and then ran into jammer penalty trouble. Both Low-Key and Nightwing heading to the penalty box. Low-Key has gone 3 times now. And Nightwing, if I can see it from here, has gone twice. So that's 5 trips. And in these 20-minute sprint games, those power jams become amplified. A 30-second power jam in a 60-minute game, it's not that major. You can certainly survive that. 30 seconds in a 20-minute game, that makes, it's basically 3 times as much time value. And with 5 penalty trips, and most of those penalties happening in the last 10 minutes of this game, you saw the Thickets give up the lead and the Renegades able to extend their lead in that last jam until the injury forced a call-off. And if you're tired of listening to me ramble on in this extended break, it's an injury break as we tend to misbehaving. If you're tired of hearing me, Captain Lou Alabama, ramble on, the Derby Nerd has joined me on the microphone. Derby Nerd, glad to have you here.
Hey, Captain Lou, glad to be here. I came in, I've got to say, the Thickets were up by quite a bit. Turned around, took a step outside for a moment, came back in. The game seems to be totally have turned around.
It did. It was I would say it's crazy, but the answer is that it was crazy squirrel.
Yes, well, I saw that happening, both jamming and then blocking on that last jam. She was phenomenal one-on-one. Now, I also got this is a left knee injury. I can update you. I don't know if you've been speculating, but
I thought it was her ankle, but I wasn't sure.
It was Sean Murphy got a good shot of her falling down and her foot getting caught under, and her knee twisting in a very weird,
uncomfortable way.
Yeah. So girlsofderby.com if you're looking for post-tournament, if you're looking for that photo.
That's right.
Hopefully she'll be all right. So how has this game been other than that? The Thickets look strong early on.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have had great moments is what's happened in this tournament or in this game. The defense of Renegades really finding their rhythm in the last 10 minutes and forcing, I believe all 5 power jams that they've gained were in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And again, I was talking before you joined on that 30-second power jams in a 60-minute game, they're valuable, but you can survive.
Yeah.
But in a 20-minute game, if you give up 5 power jams, it is really tough to come back from that, unless the other team's taking an equal number. I believe the Renegade Derby Dames have only had 4 power jams. I haven't been tracking that, but I believe that is correct.
It's still a lot for one of these 20-minute games. If you wanted an update, also, we just saw a similar situation happen over in Ted Reeve between the Fox Force 5 and the Derby Debutantes. It was a back-and-forth game where they just basically traded power jams. We actually lost track of how many power jams each team had over the last 10 minutes of that game. Ended up being a 74-63 win for the Fox Force 5. They had built a big lead early and then ran into all sorts of penalty troubles, and that allowed the Debs to get back. So that's happening over at Ted Reeve Arena Right now, we've got Belleville Bombshells and the Cannondalls over at Ted Reeve, and I believe Belleville was leading at last I saw, but that also looked like it was a kind of a close game.
I suspect that game should be pretty much over, I would think, by now. If it started at 1, I think it was supposed to start at 1. It was not.
Yep.
We're at 1:40. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, so we might be running into some our first bit of time problems.
The bubble delay.
Bubble delay.
But having said that, neither one of us knows who won that Belleville Cannondalls game.
We don't know how it ended, no.
But if you're tired of watching this game, and I don't think you should be because this game's well within reach of the thickets, it's only 16 points. We will get one more jam underway once Misbehavin' is taken care of. The other game is getting ready to start on the other track, on the Ted Reeve Arena track. And that's the Divas who won their first game. And they were pushed very hard.
They were, yeah.
Very hard by the Dirty Farmers from Durham Region. It was only in the last little bit that they managed to pull away.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes of that game, the Dirty Farmers. But this Dirty Farmers roster has played together this summer. Anyway, they've played a couple games in the lead up to this tournament. Important. They've had some. They actually played Ganaraska, the Gravediggers, who are here too. Recently, they had a 1-point game between those two teams, so I'd love to see them meet up again at some point in this tournament. It'll take both of them going through for that to happen, but that would be interesting. The Dirty Farmers, though, looking very strong early on, as long with the Divas too.
Divas too. So the Divas will be facing off against Royal City's Our Ladies of Pain. Our Ladies of Pain getting a technical bye in the first round because they were supposed to play against the team from Rochester, Rock City's rookie team. Rock City was unable to field a full team, so they sent some of their skaters over to the Queen's Court to skate with them. And we are having a tournament with 15 teams, which meant there was a bye in the first round. So Our Ladies of Pain will get their first taste of action against a very tough Divas team. And Our Ladies of Pain will likely be in tough, but we'll see how they perform. They played very well against the Hammer City C team last weekend. Came away with a victory in that game.
Nice.
No, it came away with a narrow loss in that game.
Okay.
Narrow loss in that game.
They've also played against the Dirty Farmers earlier this summer as well. That was one of those lead-up games for the Dirty Farmers and lost to the Farmers.
Yep.
Although slightly different Farmers roster than they have here.
Right.
They had some more experienced skaters on the track for that game.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that game, which probably just started on the other track. I'm not telling you to go watch. What I think you should do is just have two windows
That's
up.
right.
Two windows up, and you can just watch both games and wait until we see what happens at the end of this game. Big swings in this game, momentum swings in this game. Both Nightwing and Low Key have able to put up big jams for the thickets. Mostly Crazy Squirrel put up the big points for the Renegade Derby Dames Fresh Meat team, but they've had some good jams from Misbehavin', who's injured on the track right now. Riot Rhythm had some moments. Bad Decisions had some moments as well out there. But, yeah, I think the story for the skaters from Alliston is the performance of Crazy Squirrel so far in this game.
A couple junior graduates, too, right, from the Alliston team, Renegade Derby Dames. That Lil Mayhem and Shatterproof.
Yep. Yeah, Lil Mayhem's had a good game. I think she might have jammed once, mostly blocking out there and looking very, very aware of what's happening on the track. It's one of those things that, I mean, I think you'll see this more as more junior leagues come up, that this Fresh Meat tournament, the Fresh Meat skaters in it, they'll be fresh. They'll be 18 years old, but they'll have 3 or 4 years of skating experience already. Maybe not playing full contact. I don't know how many of the leagues in the area are playing the level 3 JRDA rule set, but
still, level 2 is still a very physical game. And that's what I think that's one of the minor stories of this tournament is the junior graduates. I just saw Fight of the Concords play for the Divas and play very well against the Durham region team. And you're right, it's just that experience. She just her instinct for offense, which is usually takes so long to develop in young skaters, was so good. And it just came from I think she might have played 3 years with the junior team. Like, she was one of the originals, so she has a lot of track time in junior games, and it gives her that instinct that some of these newer skaters just don't have.
Yeah, I know there's at least 3 skaters, and I'm saying this not knowing what any of their names are, but I know there's at least 3 skaters on the thickets that this is their very first bout that they've ever played in. So you take that and balance it against an 18-year-old skater who's had 3 years of bouting, maybe not at full contact level, but the chaos that happens in a roller derby game on the track is, I mean, you really end up getting into a fight or flight reflex until you can get that controlled, where people are hitting you, there's bodies everywhere, there's stuff happening all over, and to be able to find that track focus, that pack focus that the veteran skaters have, it's a great value that the juniors have when they come up, that they at least have played in the chaotic junior level derby.
Because that is a really good point to make. Skaters can know the rules and know the rule book inside and out, but once you're thrown onto the track, when all that action is happening around you, it's another thing to put those rules into practice. And you can see a lot of these fresh meat skaters make those little mistakes, like just going to the penalty box, for example, the wrong way, or re-entering in front of skaters from the penalty box, and those are those kind of things. They know the rules. They've read those rules, but when it comes to a game time moment and having the ability to make those snap decisions in the midst of potential chaos, that's a whole other story, and that comes with track experience and game time, which this tournament is great to develop. So we're still waiting. We still have a skater down. She's put her glasses on. She started to take off her gear, so I think she will be removed from the track. She's in good spirits.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, she's been laughing out there, so.
But we do suspect
also some deep breaths from time to time when they're moving stuff on her. So
we suspect it's a left knee.
Yeah, Sean Murphy just came over and showed me the photo, and you'll be able to see it
yes,
online at some point. But it's one of those photos you go, yeah, that probably hurt a lot.
Yeah. It didn't look like it at the time. In real time, it just looked. No. I thought she just winded. I thought she was hit right in the solar plex. It was a nice, clean hit.
That's exactly what I called on, on the stream. Yeah, it was a great hit by Nasty Nags.
Yeah.
But she just fell wrong.
Yeah, she fell awkwardly.
Yeah.
So coming up, it was scheduled to start right now. If you've just tuned in to Layer 9's coverage of the 2014 Fresh and Furious tournament and expecting to see the South Simcoe roller derby against Queen City, you'll have to wait just a moment. We have a slight injury delay here on the track. That will be coming up, and that is not an elimination game, but the winner will get a bye right through to the quarterfinals of that one.
That's right. Very important to get those byes.
Save some energy in this one-day tournament.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I mean, you never want injuries to happen anywhere, but there's here at the Bubble, we will be a little bit behind. Over in the Ted Reeve Arena, there's going to be a big gap between after the next game, between that game and Game 11, the Fox Force 5 game, if you're an Orangeville fan. That won't be going until 3 p.m., so there is quite a big time gap over at Ted Reeve Arena.
You wonder if maybe they'll switch up the game times. If they do change up the schedule and decide that one of the bubble games will end up playing in that gap over in Ted Reeve, we'll do our best to get you that information online, but we don't know.
We don't know. It will be streamed, whatever happens, so you will be able to watch it. But yeah, just stay tuned in case of some schedule changes where you move some games.
Someone told you we're moving the next game?
No, we were just talking about that. So you are. So the South Simcoe game is going to be over at Ted Reeve?
Yeah.
Awesome. Good idea.
Yeah.
It's great to hear that.
Hey, we look like geniuses.
We do look like geniuses. We just got word that, as we suspected, if you are looking for the South Simcoe Queen City game, please switch to the Ted Reeve stream. That game is going to happen, I'm presuming, after game number 9 at Ted Reeve Arena.
Yeah, so Divas Our Lady's Pain happening right now in Ted Reeve. Then at 2:20, you'll get the game that was supposed to happen at 1:40 here, which is South Simcoe versus Queen City. And then hopefully we'll get our game underway at 2:20 here, which is Ganaraska versus
Windsor,
the Windsor Assault.
And hopefully someone will be streaming that, because I think we're going to probably have some clash with time and streams, but you'll see the image anyway.
That's right. I'm sure someone will be around to pick up a microphone and talk.
Yeah. All right, so once again, I guess we're going to wait for the skater to be removed from the track. They're really trying to stabilize her leg. When it comes down to those knee ligaments, you really don't want to risk anything.
No, it looks like they've got some ice on her, and they're trying to make her comfortable, but I know I was told by the tournament head ref that they had called for an ambulance.
Okay.
So that's probably what they're waiting for right now. That's what the delay is right now. They probably don't want to move her in case they inflict any more injury. They'll want to get a proper board and stretcher move in order to get her off the track. So that is why the game is being delayed. That's okay.
Yep. And once again, if you are just tuning in looking for South Simcoe and Queen City, that game is now going to be played at Ted Reeve Arena at 2:20. So you will find it streamed there at Ted Reeve Arena at 2:20. The other feed. It's a big day in Derby, not only in Canada but around the world. So thanks for tuning in, taking some time here in the afternoon. We know we're going to be competing for the airwaves tonight as Gotham visits London. If you don't know about that, just forget I said it. Just stick to watching the Fresh and Furious.
As far as I know, that game's on right now.
Yeah. Oh, is it right now?
What time is it right now?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I wasn't making
like
the adjustment for the British time.
Yeah, no, I think it's actually happening right now. You don't want to watch that. There'll be archives of that.
Yeah, those teams aren't.
Stay here.
Those teams are both. I don't know. They're not as good as everyone says they are.
That's right. Not as good as Fresh Meat teams.
No way. Gotham. You don't need Gotham when you have the Thickets from Forest City.
I love that name. I really do. I think it's a great name for a Forest City Fresh Meat team.
Yes, it is good. And you don't need who needs Crazy Squirrel or who needs Stephanie Maney when you have Crazy Squirrel to watch. So no need to watch that game. No, but a big game, of course, happening. Lots of WFTDA Division 1. I guess games that will count toward next season. They won't count toward this year's playoffs, but they will count toward next season's playoffs. So some big games. Toronto, CN Power in Baltimore tonight to take on Charm City.
Yeah, a tough game for Toronto, but and it'll be a good challenge, especially with the playoffs coming up. We should know, hopefully, Monday.
Or Tuesday the 15th?
Tuesday the 15th, yes.
Yeah.
We should know Tuesday where they'll be going and who they'll be playing. I know the roller derby world is all a quiver with the thought of playoff designations. I know I am.
It's going to be exciting. There's going to be at least 3 Canadian teams in Division 1. At least 3 Canadian teams.
And another one in Division 2.
And then at least 1 in Division 2. There's going to be
2. There's either 2 in Division 2 or 4 in Division 1.
Yeah. There will be 5 Canadian teams in the playoffs.
Yes. Yeah, Rideau Valley looking very strong as their season progressed. Most the Rideau Valley skaters, some of the Rideau Valley skaters, traveling to
Team Ontario,
the Tobin Tussle in Portage La Prairie, Manitoba. Haven't heard any results of. I know Team Ontario was supposed to be playing Team Alberta this morning, and then this evening playing Team Manitoba and Team Alberta again. Haven't heard any results from that, but. Cheers to the Team Ontario and all the other provincial teams that are playing each other in Manitoba. And last night, Terminal City All-Stars hosted the Houston Roller Derby All-Stars and managed to come away with about a 2-1 win, which I think was a little under expectations for Terminal City, but still a very solid victory on their part.
Houston's ranked 33rd?
Yeah, they're up there. They almost didn't qualify for playoffs. They had to get a last-minute game in with Big Easy out of New Orleans that allowed them to qualify for Division 1. Otherwise, they would have fallen out of WFTDA play.
So still a nice victory for Terminal City as they will be in the Division 1 playoffs this year, their second year in the playoffs.
Likely the highest-ranked Canadian team.
You have them as high as 17th? Is that what you have them?
17th, I believe. One spot above Montreal.
Yeah.
Even though Montreal came away with that win at ECDX.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an exciting game.
Yeah, again, with the stats, wins and losses don't always mean everything. I noticed also on flat track stats, Toronto was pulled ahead of Montreal as well on flat track stats. I just saw that this week. I hadn't realized that, but Toronto now in the top 20 in flat track stats. That might change after tonight.
Well, we'll see how they do against Charm. The Toronto CN Power dealing with some injuries still, although I understand that Diana Hercha was cleared for play.
Yeah, last minute for play.
Yeah, and managed to make it to Baltimore. So that is
she did make it. Last I heard, she was frantically looking for a drive.
I think I saw a Facebook update saying that she was on her way to Baltimore.
Oh, nice, good.
So that's good. Yeah, that she is a key piece to the Toronto defense. It's nice that Nasher is back as well. But that Nasher-Dinah combo is as good as any blocker combo in the world, if you ask me. So
Yeah, wow. That's high praise. But yeah, definitely they're also members of Team Ontario and Team Canada as well. Yeah, Team Ontario missing a lot of skaters this weekend for their tournament. I think they have a good roster.
They do.
Still anchored by that Rideau Valley core there. But yeah, missing all those skaters from Tri-City. And although the Wildly Coyote is...
Wildly Coyote and Sofanda Beaton both.
We're both playing for
making
Ontario.
the trip. Yeah.
Now, why is that? Because they do have a WFTDA game this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Well.
I was discussing that on the way down to this tournament, and it's like, but they have a sanctioned game on Sunday, but I don't know why.
All right,
But
well,
it is what it is.
That's
So,
great for Team Ontario.
Yes, two very strong blockers.
And here's some nerdy facts. One member of Team Ontario, Nasty Nads, made her debut. I mean, I think to the larger Derby community, made her debut at this very tournament. Fresh and Furious 1 helped the Gold Miners' daughters to,
That's
I think it was a pretty big upset victory over the Divas in the final of that tournament.
And it was that. I mean, that was a fascinating tournament in that Gold Miners' daughter, I believe, lost their first
To
game.
Durham Region.
They looked terrible out there, absolutely
Yes.
terrible. And then, but they took the information they got from that game and managed to pull off a win in their second game, and they just got better and better as the day went by. And yeah, Nasty Nads, and was Misery Business playing in that game as well?
Yes, yep.
They're both playing in Manitoba this weekend. Both members of Team Ontario, and both fantastic skaters from Timmins.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you could just see them learning as the tournament went on, and it's one of the great things about the Fresh and the Furious. I mean, I think the Fresh Meat are trained a little more vigorously now than they were 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And so they're a little more prepared going to these games, but you still see a lot of learning going on as this day proceeds.
Yeah, again, it's that experience and that track time, and as they get it, things just start to fall into place. Things you've seen happen and maybe didn't quite understand how they happen, you start to see how that works on the track, the mechanisms of plays and offense, defense transitions all starts to see a little clearer when you're out there and you've got that track time in.
So though we never want something like this to happen, I was informed by the tournament head ref that while they are waiting for an ambulance, unless the ambulance gets here in about 4 minutes, this game is going to be called as is, and there will not be a final jam. So they're giving it a 30-minute break, and if that doesn't happen, they're going to do their best to get misbehaving off the track and get things rolling again.
I think that's valid. There is probably only time, I mean, technically I guess you could get 2 jams in there, but it looks like there'll only be 1 more jam.
That's right. 16 points. I mean, you could argue that you can. I think the main thing is it's not an elimination game.
Right.
Both these teams will be able to play 1 more game. Renegade probably 2 more games as they haven't lost. Assuming we don't get another jam underway and the score changes around. But even if the Thickets lose this game because of the injury, the time delay, they still have an opportunity to win. They will go on and they'll have to face against the Neophytes, who were very, very tough against Les Bouches.
That was a high-scoring game. Again, I didn't see that. I was actually calling a game over at Ted Reeve at that time, but I came in and saw the score and I couldn't believe it. Both teams scored over 100 points.
And what I found really interesting in that game is both teams went with the strategy that if you get lead, you're just going to score as many points as you can. Even if the other team's scoring points, you're going to put as many points up as you can because you have control of the clock. And in a short game like this, controlling 2 minutes of a 20-minute game because you have lead is really valuable. So there were a lot of 2-minute jams and a lot of jams where both teams are putting up. It was like there were a couple of 30 to 20-point jams that went up, and that's why the score was so high.
Yeah, that would explain it. That seems to be, is that a Quebec strategy? Montreal loves to do that, loves to play the clock, loves to see if they can trap a jammer in the pack, and maybe it's just a strategy out of Quebec.
Yeah, and I think, not necessarily a great strategy to do under ranking circumstances, but none of these teams care about rankings.
No.
I mean, these are fresh meat teams. They're brand new teams. None of these skaters have played in this tournament before, and they'll never play in this tournament again. So the whole point is to win.
Yes.
And if you can put the points up when you have lead jammer and you can continue to hold on to that lead, it's a 4-0 jam compared to a 20-16 jam with that much more time taken off the clock is more valuable. 20-16 is the better option if you kill 2 minutes. I don't think we're going to get another jam underway, Derby Nerd.
I don't think so either. Thanks for listening to us. Wow, you've been. I'm glad I jumped on the mic, seeing you here all alone.
I was rolling.
5 minutes into
good.
that
Oh
timeout. I thought maybe I should jump in.
Very kind of you. Yes, if you are just tuning in.
So again, just to keep you updated, the game that was scheduled here, South Simcoe Roller Derby against Queen City, that's going to be happening now 2:20 in the Ted Reeve Arena, so on the other stream. So you can tune in there if you want to miss that game. And do we have an update on this game?
The only update I got was from Davey Darko, who is the head ref, and he said that there were 3 points that went unreported at the end of that jam for the Renegade Derby Dames. Again, the concern was that the skater had gone down and was injured, and so the points did not get reported until just recently, so that's why there are 3 more points, which is why it's now a 19-point lead instead of 16-point lead. He did not say that the game was being called, but we are at the point of time.
There it is.
That whistle.
It's official then.
Yes. So, yeah, unfortunate for the Four City Derby Girl Thickets, who had a great game, but lost the lead in the last 4 or 5 jams. And with that injury to misbehaving, this game will be called off. And the victory will go to the Renegade Derby Dames from Allison, Ontario, the Fresh Meat Squad. They will move on to face Nabouche, the Quebec squad, at 3 o'clock. And the Thickets will go on to face the group from Northern Ontario, the Neophytes, at 3:40. That'll be an elimination game. Renegades game will not be elimination. It will be battling to get to the quarterfinals. I've got Lou Alabama. I'm going to take a bit of a break now. And Derby Nerd, thanks for jumping on the mic.
Thanks. I'll be back here at 2:20 for the next game, Ganaraska and Windsor.
Stay tuned to... Is this officially a Tord TV production, or is it just Layer 9
Layer
production?
9
Layer
production.
9. You can see us on Canuck Derby TV, all sorts of stuff. But you're watching Fresh and the Furious 2014. I'll go over and check and see what's happening. Otherwise, I'll call it.
And are we scheduled? So you weren't scheduled to be alone?
That was Rebel didn't show up.
Okay, no.
He didn't get any info, so yeah. I think they thought you might come over anyways. But it was whatever. It's 20 minutes until it turns into.
Yeah,
when did this game
30-minute timeout. That was a 30-minute timeout.
This game started at 1. That was 1 hour. It's like you came in like I had 35 minutes of talking on my own, and then you came in with 25.
Yeah,
25 minutes.
so 5 minutes into the timeout. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm starting to lose my mind.
Yeah, you lose focus.
Yeah.
All right. Go see what's happening over there. And then someone's coming over here for you. So.
And if not, it's...
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and like, yeah, if I don't know, if you need an extra body on that other side, I can go.
Right.
I've had my first one.
Then it's serving beer on this side too. Huh? Yeah, I grabbed some food and beer myself. Then went on to 420.
I got 30 laps. I know.
when did you get that?